Okay, everyone.
Hey.
Welcome back to Downright Random.
Okay.
What?
Nothing.
So I am Mike.
I'm Janine.
And welcome to our podcast. And just like the other day, we are your podcast people for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully you listen to no one else and only us.
Yep.
Because you're smart people. But anyways, guys. So we hope you enjoyed what we've been doing so far. We've been enjoying it, and we hope that you've been sharing it around and having other people enjoy things as well. So just to get the thing started, you said you were thinking about something.
Yeah. So I know, like, based on like our podcast that we've had, we haven't really talked much about current events, which we try to
Controversy.
Yeah, it's kind of controversial. A lot of people are sensitive about things, and we don't really want people to come here and it's kind of like we don't want it to be like you're surrounded with all this stuff 24/7 pretty much, you know. And so we want an area where people can
feel safe.
Feel it's a safe place. And so I think for me, what I wanted to talk about, I guess I just wanted to know how's everybody doing without getting into detail about everything, but just like how are you mentally, you know, protecting yourself, or mentally just, you know, making yourself stay healthy, I guess. And I think that's the main thing. I don't think enough people ask that question. I think everyone is just barking out what they feel, but it's almost one of those things where you kind of like want someone just to be like, how are you? Like, without going into detail. Like, you don't need to say what side you're on and what you believe and don't believe, but it's just generally, how are you? And I think that when you what?
I'm doing good.
You doing good? That's good to know. That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't think, and I feel like you need to do that more often with people. I think, you know, just take a moment and just say, how are you? And be genuine about it. Not just say like, how are you? And then not listen to what they're saying. Like, actually genuinely pay attention to how someone is feeling. And I think that goes with times now and other times. Even when times are good, you should still say, you know, ask somebody, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Because,
but only if you care.
But only if you care. Yeah, don't just do it because don't be a Mike. But it's like, because sometimes people, you know, you ever go to the grocery store and someone will say, how's your day going? And then you say good, and then they start ringing up stuff and they go, so how's your day going? And you're like, you literally just asked me that question. But it's because it's part of like their training. But it's like, if you're going to ask the question, is
it training or just brainwashing?
Okay, that's the thing also. And it's not just grocery stores that do. A lot of places do that. And you're just like, I literally just answered your question. And maybe it does have to do with, you know, there are things that we're conditioned to do and that we don't even realize that we're conditioned to do, you know? Mm-hmm. And so we were also talking about that we've been watching a lot of movies that have to do like with just in your like mental things. Like,
but we always kind of watch those kind of movies. It's not just all of a sudden.
No. We always do. But it's one of those things where
we like things that are like thought provoking.
Yeah. And then you're trying to figure out, and then you get to the point where you're just like, you're watching the characters and you're seeing like they're trying to fight against something taking over their mind or something, or they're trying to
just completely ridiculous.
Or they're just completely ridiculous with it and they've let it kind of take over. Like the last two movies we watched, yesterday we watched which was a crazy movie. Mike, we got it from the dollar store actually, which is pretty cool. Got it for $1. The Signal.
Yeah. And
if you haven't seen that movie, I'm not gonna like give away the whole thing of it, but basically, how can we describe it without giving too much of it away?
So basically, the world has, or we don't know if it's the world.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing.
They're very vague in like things, but it's definitely in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. That Atlanta has gone crazy, mm-hmm. and it's all due to some signal that mm-hmm. got put out somehow by someone we don't know.
Yeah.
And it gets in your head, mm-hmm. and it makes people crazy.
Yeah.
And then it's just the insanity that follows.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. But you follow basically three main people. Mm-hmm. There's a couple side characters and stuff, but there's three main people that you follow. And there's three kind of like chapters, per se, to the movie.
Yeah. And then we also watched the other one that was on the ship. That was in the dollar store also, right?
I forget. No, that was on Amazon.
That was on Amazon. I forget the name of that one. Triangle, yeah. And that's another one. It's like something where you're trying to figure out what's going on. The character's trying to figure out what's going on. Mm-hmm. And it's just one of those like psychological kind of things. And I feel like physically you can be like, you can be beat down or whatever, but I think once something gets in your head mentally, I think you're pretty much, I think that's where you get most weakened. I don't know.
I think fatigue comes from your brain being tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most definitely.
And so,
because you can't focus, you can't think. Like that's when you get tired, like mentally, that's when you're exhausted.
So you were saying brainwashing. What do you mean? Like,
if you, well, I mean, brainwashing is a pretty common term nowadays that covers a whole bunch of things, I think. But the majority of it is just that brainwashing is something that you instill into someone, so it is repetitive and they do it without probably knowing it. That their actions are based on something that has been taught to them over and over and over again. So it becomes secondhand. It's almost, I mean, it's almost involuntary. But the problem with it that's different than other involuntary actions is that it's been taught.
Do you think it's taught by someone else or self-taught?
Well, okay. If it's self-taught, how do you know about it? So you have to get the information from somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly something that can be self-taught.
Can like a routine be brainwashing? Like you've brainwashed yourself into be stuck into a routine? Because that can be like self-taught. Like you have your own routine.
That's a good question.
Stumped him.
I don't know. It's, okay, so is that more of a brainwashing, or do you think that's something that would be more of like an OCD thing that you create? But is OCD brainwashing?
I don't know, because at what point does it become OCD though? Like, does it become like, because some people, they can have a routine, but it's okay if they break that routine like every once in a while. But
everyone has a routine.
Yeah.
Like we have a routine.
Yeah.
But everyone has a routine. Our dog has a routine.
Oh gosh. And she's, if we go off, like she's very, because for a while we did the same thing, like for like, and she knows exactly what we're going to do. And when we throw her off, you can tell she's thrown off. Yeah. She likes routine. She definitely does. Yeah. She's like, I mean, a dog.
She had routine before.
Yeah.
And then we were doing a new routine. So it's like she's fallen in line with that routine. I mean, I guess it could be a form of brainwashing. But I don't know.
Is brainwashing always bad? Like, because some people put like a bad notation on it. That's the thing.
Here's the thing. Anytime that you basically force someone to do something, whether it be good or bad, it's kind of a bad thing, because you're altering someone's free will to do something, whether it be good or bad.
But that's why I go back to the whole, like, some people have their own routine. And so...
But if that's their routine, that's their free will creating that routine. It's not someone else changing that for you.
Yeah. Okay.
You may just be stunning your own growth in certain things, but it's not someone else doing it for you.
Yeah. Because that is possible also. Because if you do the same thing all the time, you're not going off course. And maybe sometimes going off course will make you progress to something else.
But taking away someone's free will is like where I feel that brainwashing is a bad thing.
Yeah.
I understand it, and I get it sometimes.
What do you mean by that?
There's a whole controversy about military being brainwashed into doing something, and I understand, but also military is designed for a certain thing, and it takes a certain kind of person to become military. And I think that's a part of the problem with today is that there are too many weak-minded people out there, and so when you get instilled these guidelines, I don't know how to say it without
training,
when you get these kind of things, older military people, they're very stern, they're very strong-headed, strong-willed, all these other things, but I think that's their type. But I think today there's a lot of military people who are weak-minded that are more scared, I guess, if they don't do what they were told, that there's going to be another bigger punishment or something like that, instead of just doing the mission or whatever. And then when they come home, they claim PTSD. I'm not saying that PTSD is not real, but I'm saying that there's a weird reason why so many people have it nowadays.
Do you think it's just that people didn't know what to call it before, and that's the reason why it's now more
I don't know, because
reported?
I have the same feeling about like autism. Like, why is it all of a sudden that there's so many kids nowadays being developed with autism? Whereas maybe back in the day, we just didn't know about it, or we didn't diagnose it properly.
We didn't know how to,
But again, I think it may be overdiagnosed. And again, I feel that that's why with PTSD, it may be overdiagnosed. All because you're scared of something and something may frighten you doesn't mean you have PTSD.
Yeah.
It means you have a fear of something. That doesn't mean it's PTSD.
Yeah. So you put a lot of facts there. I'm gonna go one by one. As far as the autism stuff, I have conflicting, and I know people that they're gonna get whatever. It's conversation, and you should be able to have conversation and be able to talk about certain things or whatever. So I do think that there were issues. I mean, there were probably cases before, but people didn't know how to diagnose them. Because I know, like, when we were in high school, not high school, like in elementary school, everything was ADD.
Yeah.
Everybody had ADD. And it was like, if the kid was over, was like hyper or something like
But
that.
see, that's the
but
opposite of what they're claiming today.
Yeah, I
So,
know.
Like,
so it's like, did all those kids have ADD, or did they just need more stimulation as far as like, maybe doing after school programs and burning off more energy, or
Or
they
were
needed,
they just
or they
normal?
needed things to focus on. Because I know, like, go ahead, I'm sorry.
or were they just normal, and all the rest of us who weren't going as fast as them
Yeah.
have autism because we're slower?
I don't know, but I know, like, for example, like I know I talk about my brother a lot, but he would get bored in certain classes because I guess he was just more advanced than some of the other students in the class. And so whereas
I do feel that there are times that that kids are not challenged to their ability.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they have autism or have some sort of special skill. It just means that in that field they need to be challenged more.
Yeah.
And I'll say that there were classes that I felt probably the same way.
Yeah.
But there were other classes that I felt that I was being challenged exactly where I needed to be.
Yeah. Because it was making you learn more, and you didn't feel like it was behind. Like, you felt like it was challenging you, and you were learning,
Right.
not,
And I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Because I was being challenged where I needed to be challenged.
Mm-hmm. And also with, you mentioned about the, so I wonder how many kids actually, or how many people were actually diagnosed with ADD and had to take, like, I don't know if it was Ritalin, yeah. And then they realized that they didn't have that.
Well, they also realized that Ritalin was very bad for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember. What did they say? I don't remember what they said.
I don't
the
remember
side
what
effects.
they said, but it was bad.
But so that's another thing, and it's just like, I don't really know, like, if there's medication for autism, because you don't really hear too much about it. I think it's more of like a behavioral kind of therapy of thing. You don't really hear like the medications, but I don't know if but, and then as far as like the PTSD, okay, so what for you would, if you can give a scenario of like someone that's dealing with PTSD and like what would happen to, spark it, what would you say?
Okay, I have an example. Back in high school, there was a teacher, and he got laughed at a little bit, but he had, in one of the classes, like he was in Vietnam. He was a very good teacher. He was a history teacher, and I enjoyed his class. There was one day that a book fell, and it was a loud like thing, and it like snapped him, and he like kind of went off. I feel like there are certain things like that can cause like memory to pop back up and things to happen. I mean, that's the whole purpose of PTSD, is that something triggers a memory, which you don't like or whatever like that. But it just seems that today everyone is claiming it on everything. I'm not saying that you don't deserve to claim it, because based on your situation, but I feel like everyone's claiming it nowadays.
Yeah.
And I feel like something like that, something like that happened, and a noise triggered him. But it's also one of those things that, did it trigger him to, like, okay, I don't know for sure because I didn't interview him back in the day. I don't know for sure. But it's like, I don't know. I have a problem with some of it. And some of it is it just a noise that startles you? And because there was another noise that startled you, that it just happens to startle you. But I don't.
So you think it was just a regular startling and not like a.
It's possible.
Like he fell down and was like, he thought he was back in war or something like that.
Like, it's one of those things that it's not.
So I have a similar. I have two things. I have a similar story, but it wasn't like a direct thing that happened. Like, I wasn't like in war or something like that. But it was post, I'll say 911 because I don't want to get our video flagged or whatever. But and it was after we went back to school. I was in New York when that happened. And I remember I was actually on campus when everything was going on. I can remember everything from that day, and obviously because it was a major day for a lot of people. I'm not saying it wasn't just a major day for me. And I remember when we finally went back to school, we were all in the classroom, and it was really somber and just eerie. Like there were some people who didn't come back yet because they weren't ready to come back. And I remember the AC kicked on, probably a normal thing that always happened before, but it didn't startle us because it was just whatever. But it kicked on, and everybody in the class kind of like what, like you know, like gasp all at the same time. Not that it sound anything, because we don't know what it sound like for you know, a plane to go into a building or anything, but it was like we all kind of like startled for a second, and you know, the professor was just like, you know, calm, you know, you guys are okay, everything's all right. I don't know if that was, I think that was just kind of like a, I don't think it's a, I don't know, I don't think it's really like PTSD. It's just one of those, you're still on edge. Right. So, you know, that's something that happened. But another thing that gets on my nerves, when people claim PTSD for something they didn't really experience at all. And I don't want to get too into it because, like I said, we're trying not to make it too controversial. I still want this to be, like I said, like a safe place. You're just talking. You're just getting thoughts out, and it's not where you're pointing fingers or whatever. But I don't feel like you can claim PTSD for something that you didn't experience, because I think that's an insult to people who did experience it. Right. And I don't like, you know, people to do that, or to claim, you know, that they have that issue also. So,
and maybe that's probably where maybe that's where a lot of my thought is also following. Like,
yeah,
I feel
you don't
like
inherit PTSD.
Like,
that's
too
not
many
how it
people
works. Yeah.
claim it, and it may be because like everyone feels that because someone else experiences something that they have to experience it as well.
And it's not a glamorous thing. I don't think people realize that having PTSD or having anxiety is not a glamorous thing.
But see, again,
it's not something to be ashamed of, but it's not something that you would like. You should be like, I really want to be part of that team that, you know, that has that.
I feel like that's the problem, though, is that there are people out there that, despite how tragic something is, mm-hmm. they want to be a part of it because they want to either claim victimhood. Mm-hmm. Or whatever, and we have our views on victimhood, but like there are victims. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to take things away from them, but there are people who want to be a part of something just to be a victim, to say they were a victim, and I don't agree with that at all. Yeah, and we know this because one of the radio stations we listen to, mm-hmm. one of the talk show hosts, mm-hmm. which we know, mm-hmm. we've spoken with her before, we've hung out with her before a little bit.
Nice person, yeah.
She wanted to be a part of something. And she said, it's not because I want to get hurt, mm-hmm. but because she wants to experience it. Yeah. And
you don't get that luxury.
And I think one of the things that she said that she was like almost like a plane crash. Yeah. Like she was wanting to like experience it. It's like, why do you want to?
And you can't say you want to experience it, but you don't get the full effect. And that full effect may be you get hurt, you lose a limb, you die.
But it's like
you see other people die.
The reasoning that she was making, it was almost like she wanted the victimhood of it to say, oh, I was there and I was in it, instead of just saying a horrible thing happened, I survived, I'm moving on with my life. But she wanted it because of that. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what she was explaining. Like, I'm not saying verbatim mm-hmm. like how she said it, because I don't remember exactly how everything she said, but that is what she said. And she had said it on multiple times.
And that was the thing. It wasn't like it was kind of like a spur of a moment, or just kind of like a random thought that came in her head. Like, she said it numerous times. Right. So it was something that she really wanted. And it's just like, that's when people say, be careful what you wish for. Yeah. Because at that point you wish for it, and you think that you're being as detailed, but you may get it in the way you don't want it. Yeah. Because nobody wants to be part of something like that, you know? But to go back to like the mental health about things.
But is that a mental health thing? To say that you want to be a part of that?
I think so.
Also think about like how many people would say, oh, I want to be shot so I can have a gunshot wound. It's like, no, you got a mental problem. Yeah. No one wants to be shot. You shouldn't
want to, physically hurt yourself or be part of something like that, because it's not something that's glamorous. It's not. And people that I'm pretty sure people that were involved in certain things, they may be like, I was there, but for them, it probably isn't as amazing or whatever. Like, for example, the Sully, when Sully landed the plane on in the water, to other people it was like, holy crap, that was awesome, there's a movie and all this other stuff. But I'm pretty sure a lot of those people that were on that plane, to them it was a horrible moment. Yeah. Because they're not thinking, it's not just about, they survived it, and that's the amazing part, but you got to think, when all that stuff was going, when the plane was going down, everything's going on, you hear other people screaming. That's the part. Those are the things that are gonna linger.
Yeah.
You know, but you're grateful that you're still here. Maybe I'm not talking for everyone. You know, maybe some people were like, okay, it's time for me to whatever. But that's not what you're really always going to relate to.
You know what though? But how many of those people do you think got back on a plane?
I don't know. Maybe some, but I don't know.
So do you think that those people that got back on a plane are more are stronger than the people who didn't?
Not necessarily, because
Do
everyone.
you think that the people who didn't had PTSD and that's why they didn't get back on?
It's possible, but it you know, it's possible. I'm not gonna. Everyone deals with stuff.
I'm asking your opinion.
Yeah,
I'm not asking
everyone.
for facts.
Yeah, everyone deals with things different. Whereas someone else may be like, I made it through, and if it was my time to go, then I would have went. Or they may just be like, you know what, I survived, and you know, life goes on. You
Yeah.
know. But and then some people may just be like, okay, I'm good. I don't need to ever take a plane again. You know, because there are some people who, you know, only when they travel, they only go by road. They don't want to get on a plane because they probably had a horrible experience or whatever. So it's not really. I don't think it's a weak thing that some people may be affected.
I think it's one of those things that when something happens to someone, there's a lot of people who instantly feel that that's it's going to happen again.
It's possible.
And I feel like those kind of people draw that to themselves. As bad as that may sound, I feel like that's how like if you got into a car accident
I have.
and you never want to step in a car again. Like, does that like solve anything? Does it fix anything? Like, really?
It doesn't solve anything, but I think it makes you feel like it lessens the possibility of that thought coming back or that fear coming back. I'm not saying that's some people may think it's weak. Some people may think.
I think that whole adage of if you fall off the horse, you get right back on. I think that's gone. I think people don't understand what that means.
Dust yourself off and try.
Yeah,
again
get
or
back up
something.
and just dust yourself off. Like, I don't think people understand what that may entail, what it means to do that. And I think that may be part of the problem is that people don't want to dust themselves off. People always want to be their handheld to go do whatever.
Yeah.
People are going to hate me.
It's okay. That this is discussion, and this is what our podcast is about. We're not going to have the same opinion on things. Here's my thing. I think we're a lot more coddled than we used to be. Yeah. I think that the coddling hasn't stopped at the age of 3. It's continued. Yeah. I'm not like saying that you don't need people to. Everyone needs a support system.
Absolutely.
But you don't need people to, like you were saying, like stunt your growth or.
That support system is there to support you and help you, not to keep you where you are. Yeah. They're the ones that are supposed to, if you're at a certain point in your life, they're the ones that are supposed to encourage you and try to lift you up to the next level and get you over that wall. They're not supposed to be like, yeah, that wall's pretty tall. Yeah. Okay, we're not going to get over it. Yeah. Instead of saying, how about I boost you up and get you over this wall? Yeah. Because you're just still going to be stuck over there. And I feel like that's what a support system, whether it be family or friends.
Yeah, but what if they say, maybe there's another way. Maybe we don't have to climb over the wall, but we can figure out another way. But if there's, is that still a support system?
You know what? If it's any way to get on the other side of that wall, then that's a good support system. Yeah. If that wall, like if you are attempting to get over the wall and you're like, all right, we can't get over it. We got to find another. We either need to get under it or figure out a way to get around it, or hell, even go through it. We got to figure out how to get on the other side of this wall. Yeah. That is a good support system, because those are the ones that are encouraging and want to make sure that you do what you're supposed to be doing. I think rather than just be like, well, here's the wall. Here's your little crayon to mark how many days you're on this side of the wall.
I feel like that's a dying breed.
What do you mean? The ones that help you get over?
Like there's people that are still like, that help you over and everything. But I think a lot of people are just living in.
You wanna know why? This is my opinion, but this is why I think that it could be a dying breed based on what you said. I feel that there's a lot of people out there because they are so like just have so many issues themselves that they are not willing to help someone else above their own means. If they themselves cannot get over the wall, they don't want to help you over that wall. Because they're like, why would I help them get all the way up there when I can't get up the way there myself? Not thinking,
not realizing that once they get over, they can help them over
right,
as well.
if you push them up on the wall, maybe they can help get your hands up and get you over the wall.
Yeah.
They don't think about that. They're like, well, I can't get over it, so I'm not going to help them over it.
Yeah.
They're going to stay right here with me. So wherever my little problems are, I'm going to bring them to my problems. And that's where that whole, like, this is a sayings video, is that misery loves company.
Yeah.
That's where the whole thing comes from. If this
Yeah.
person is miserable, they're going to make sure that you're miserable too, so you don't feel better about yourself being over them or whatever, even though you may have helped them.
Yeah.
I feel that's the problem. And some of it may be because there's a lot of people out there who are very selfish in certain things. Again, I'm not saying everyone.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like the whole thing of if you help someone else, not that most people are expecting something in return, but they hope that maybe one day when you're in a certain position, maybe they may put a hand out to you.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that you don't know, you don't want something right now or whatever, but you just be like, you know what? If I'm feeling bad, I hope they give me a call and just say, hey, how are you feeling?
And that's what I was saying before.
You were saying that before.
Yeah. See,
But-
it comes back around.
But it's one of those things that sometimes when they push someone over the wall
Yeah.
and then they get big,
Mm-hmm.
they forget the little people or the
Yeah.
people that helped them get to where they are. Sometimes they do,
Mm-hmm.
but not all the times.
Yeah.
And I think the not all times is more than not.
Yeah.
So I think the world is so selfish right now, and I think that's the problem.
Selfish and I think scared.
Well, that goes with it.
Yeah.
Because being selfish, you're scared of
Yeah.
losing certain
Yeah.
things because that's why you want to keep it all. You want to make sure that someone else doesn't have it over you.
Yeah.
You're scared of losing those things. That's what makes selfish people selfish, is their fear of losing something.
Yeah.
And the whole purpose of trying to help, I still feel like with kids, it takes a village to raise a child. And I feel like that is also gone. And that's where a lot of this problem comes up, because the selfishness of one person is not wanting to help another person to help encourage their growth or their learning or something like that. And then it just recycles the whole stuff over again.
Yeah.
And this is where society has just like started to fall apart. We were talking about it in our last podcast with the reality show stuff. Is like, I mean, it's almost the same thing of like that. Like these people have this level of jealousy that they want to make sure that they don't get or someone else doesn't get something that they don't get.
Yeah.
And so then they're willing to put like all this other drama into it to create controversy. And
I feel like there are people who dislike other people and they don't even realize that that other person didn't really do anything. It's just an internal thing. Like if there's somebody who you like genuinely dislike, most of the time it's a you problem. And it probably is. And sometimes there are people who are just nasty. Like, you know, I talk about that. I don't like rude people and all this other stuff. But sometimes there are people that just have like a lot of just anger and jealousy and selfishness, and they don't want the other person to seem like they have more, like they're doing good.
Yeah.
And if they are starting to do good, they can't even applaud them or anything. I feel that right now in this moment, there's a lot of, like you said, selfishness. There's a lot of, there's not enough compassion. I feel like there's not enough people reaching out and trying to connect with people. I feel like we've become very disconnected as a society. And I feel like, and I was saying that, I think Jim actually had a post, and I was saying this, our friend Jim. And I feel like social media was made to connect and disconnect us.
right.
I feel like it's like you can talk to more people, but I feel like a lot of us are just like arguing with one another. I don't feel like they are like it's making people like see something from another person's point of view or understand another person's like story
But
and how they.
You want to know how I kind of feel that is the problem is with social media, is that we share other people's stories, not our own. And the only ones that we share of our own are the ones that are very dramatic and very like,
That's
you
true.
want attention. It's not that, oh, I just want to share my day with someone or share what I've done. It's like, oh, this happened to me today. Check it out, share it, make sure that everyone knows that.
Make it go viral.
Make it go viral kind of thing. Instead of just saying, I had a good day today.
Yeah.
Because that will never go viral.
Yeah.
But all the drama, all the chaos, all the
unless
other
it's
stuff.
pushing something, and then it's kind of like orchestrated. Sometimes I feel, I don't know.
If you said,
But-
I had a great day today,
Yeah.
share this if you feel the same.
I-
no one will share that. I
Yeah.
guarantee it. No
Yeah.
one will share. Or not no one. I'll take that back.
Some people will.
A couple of your families and
Yeah,
friends will share it.
Yeah.
But
If you say, I went into the store and this cashier was so rude to me, her name is ... She works at this location. Share this. Everyone's going to share it.
yep.
And that's the thing. It's like, I think we just need to have more positive, like, and I'm not trying to sound like kumbaya when I say this, but it's one of those things where energy,
Where's my
like,
guitar?
energy feeds other energy. And if you put bad energy out there, that's what you're going to get. If you feed into egotistical,
It's one of those things of like karma. Like,
yeah,
if you believe in good karma or bad karma,
Yeah.
I mean, just karma in general. But
Yeah.
like, it's one of those things that if you are nice to someone, someone hopefully will be nice to you. I mean,
yeah.
that's what
And it
karma's
may not
supposed to
come
be.
back right away.
No.
It may be like 2 years from now, you're on the side of the road and you're like, your car broke down, you're frustrated, you're crying, you're just like, what am I going to do? And then all of a sudden, that thing that you did, but, and it may come back that way. But
Yeah.
like you were saying, you can't do something and hope that something good is gonna come to you right away. You can't be like, if someone else is on the side of the road and you stop and then you help them fix their flat tire and then you put your hand out like, where's my money? Like,
Yeah.
where's my tip? I helped you. Like, you can't do that, But it's like,
I mean, we've helped, not to toot our own horns, but we've helped people
Yeah.
not to get something in return.
No.
Like, there was some gentleman that broke down the side of the road.
and everyone
Was passing them. Everyone
People were
was
even
honking
getting
their horns.
frustrated.
They were yelling at them.
Yeah.
They were pushing their pickup truck that broke down. We don't know if they ran out of gas or
Yeah.
something. But there was 3 of them that get out, and they're trying to
And
push
they're
this
trying to
heavy
move. Yeah.
pickup truck
Yeah.
up a hill
Yeah.
to do it. And all these people were honking and yelling at them and stuff like that, not caring. We stopped. We said, do you need help? We have a tow strap. We hooked up our truck to their truck and towed them to the gas station. And they offered to give us money, and we're like, we don't need any money.
No.
We just we pulled you 100 feet.
Yeah.
get into this gas station.
We've been there before, and we know.
And we have been there, and we understand it.
Yeah.
And we've never.
And I think that's the thing that a lot of people, they forget. Everybody has a moment when you're not in the best place.
Everyone has a downtime.
Yeah. And so you have to, not that you have to live in that moment, but keep it in the back of your head, because somebody else may be in that, and you may go back to that moment, So it's like,
But you know the other thing though, it's like, again, talking about with like the videos and the viral stuff, we could have filmed it.
Yeah.
You could have been outside filming it while I
Yeah.
pulled the truck.
Yeah.
We could have posted it
Yep.
and said, look what we did. And then been like, make this go viral.
Yeah.
All because we were helping someone, but trying to benefit because we're going viral. And then we would have
Yeah.
gone on the news. We would have been on Good Morning America
Michael
and just been like,
Strahan.
we hooked up our rope and we pulled their truck.
And then they'll have the other guys, and we have to like act like we're having a reunion and we're all hugging each other again and all this other stuff. And it's not necessary. It's just be a good person.
You don't need
Yeah.
to take the liberties of trying to make something off of it. Granted, yes, we're doing these YouTube videos, we're doing these podcasts, we're doing these things, but we're doing it because we enjoy it. And we would love to make money at this, but we're not trying to benefit at someone else's expense to do it.
Yeah.
Because someone's down on a hardship. There was another time that we helped someone who was obviously homeless. Like, there are times that you do these things, but we don't do it to film it and put it out there and be like, look how low this person was.
Yeah,
I'm such a
that's
better
another
person than
thing
them
also.
that I was able
Yeah.
to help them.
Yeah.
That's not why we do
Yeah.
it. We saw
No.
someone who required something, who needed something, who was able to put their pride aside to ask for something, even though there's a lot of homeless people that I don't believe are truly homeless. But that'll be another thing
That'll
entirely.
be another thing. And yeah, like I said,
But-
I'm from New York. I can tell you stories.
But there are people, I feel that the people who truly need it will
Yeah.
ask a certain way and ask for certain things.
Uh-huh.
And it's not just like the whole like, do you have any money? My car broke down. I need to go get gas for my children to go to the school, or whatever their story
Yeah.
is. Like, there are certain things that certain people ask a certain way, that they need something, and you know that they truly need that thing.
Yeah.
And those are the people that we try to help, despite whatever our financial or our well-being or our mind is in that
Yeah.
time. we see someone that we're trying to be like, that person, maybe they can pass it along and help someone else out during their time.
It's because it's one of those things where when someone... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I think that's also part of it is that maybe it's not supposed to come back to us.
But maybe
it's supposed to be passed along to someone else and help someone else.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other thing. People expect it to come back to them all the time.
That's true also. Sometimes it may not.
So
it's just you passing along that good energy, and then it's going to go to somebody else that may need it. So I don't know. And like I said, in the grand scheme of things, it's just be a decent human being. Mentally try to stay strong. Don't get stuck in negativity. Don't get stuck in like victimhood. We're all in this. It's not like one person, like we're all going through our own thing, but you know, at the same time, we're all on the same wave. We're on the same I said wave, but we're all on the same you know, wavelength. Wavelength and everything. So it's just like, maybe ask somebody today or tomorrow, how are you doing? Like, and genuinely mean it, and genuinely listen to what they're saying, you know, and then let them know how you're doing. You don't have to go into detail, like I said, about what you believe in and what side you're on and all this other stuff. Sometimes all that stuff doesn't need to be repeated nonstop. Like, stop like having like word vomit all the time and having to say, this is what happened, this is what's going on, this is who's responsible. It's like, at this moment, it doesn't matter. It just matters, like, how are you doing? How are you feeling mentally and you know, physically? How are you dealing with this? That's what people need to focus on. And we can have debates and all that to the sun, you know, to the moon, the cows come home. There you go. Let's say to the sun comes up. That's what I was gonna say. But it's like focus on that kind of stuff, though. You know, because I think people need more of that. Need more of the how are you doing and the positive. And
but in order to do that, we have to lose our obsession with other people's drama.
That too. Don't feed into other people's drama. Don't feel like you have to be an advocate for them to get their point across because they're angry about something. Let it be. Something bad happens every day. You don't need to keep feeding it and dragging it on, because that does nothing.
It's about encouragement.
So
not all the drama. Encouragement.
So like I said, we're not going to go too much into current event stuff, but we are aware of what's going on. We're not oblivious to it.
I feel like we could do these rants like all the time.
We could.
I had so much like
I know. And we will, but we'll talk about things, but I just don't want people to think that we're like oblivious to what's going on. We are aware of what's going on, but we're trying to see it in a different way and try to feed it in a different way. We don't have to feed it the same way everyone else is, you know.
I know, we need more toilet paper.
But it's just like, just ask someone how they're doing today and how are you guys doing today, you know, like genuinely, like how are you doing? So I think that's about it. Mike's crying now. No, I'm not crying.
My eyes are watering because of the lights. They kind of bother me sometimes.
But so that's our show for today, and we thank you guys for listening and watching. Make sure to check us out on all of our audio platforms. Check us out on YouTube if you're watching it here. Make sure to subscribe, comment down below, hit the bell, share our videos.
Definitely share, guys. We need more people sharing.
More sharing.
We want to get out there more. We want to get this out to more people so people can just know that you need to talk to one another and just have conversations with each other. That is the whole purpose of our podcast. You don't have
to bark at people. You just have conversations.
You can have disagreements.
Oh yeah. But as you see, both of us will, you know, I think
that people. Maybe we just need to do that another thing.
We'll do another one.
We'll talk about
we'll wrap this one up and then we'll do another one. But check us out on Instagram at Downright Random and follow us, share us there, and that's about it. But I thank you guys so much for watching. Both of us, you know, we thank you guys. We're grateful to, you know, for who's listening and watching and sharing. And that's about it. So we'll see you in the next one.
All right, guys. All right. Later. Peace.